really like to acknowledge that we're meeting on the lands of the Kaurna people, the traditional custodians and caretakers of the Adelaide Plains and waters. It always was and always will be Aboriginal land. We are guests on this beautiful Kaurna land and respect their spiritual connection to country. I'd like to acknowledge the First Nations people in the room with us and extend my respects to other First Nations peoples. We're really excited to have you here in Adelaide. I think anyone you meet from Adelaide will just be so excited to show you around. One of my favourite places in Adelaide is the River Torrens, or Karawira Parry, which means Red Gum Forest River. It's served as a source of abundance for the Kaurna people for thousands of years. You could also visit Victoria Square or Tandanyanga, dreaming place of the big red kangaroo. There's usually lots of protests and march and events happening there. Tomorrow there's a Survival Day event if you're interested. Lots of powerful speakers and performers throughout the day. It's a First Nations run event. Another place is Elder Park. It's a meeting place to dance, sing, have ceremony, tell stories, a place of exchange and trade. We sometimes dance at the Rotunda or like near the river. Elder Park is on the river in the city. So while you're exploring and enjoying our city, you may wish to take a moment to reflect or connect or listen to country in your own way. And please remember that tomorrow is January 26th. You may wish to deepen your understanding of this day, history of First Nations peoples, go to the museum, the art gallery, or find other cultural experiences. It's a day of mourning, a very heavy time for First Nations peoples, and for many it is not a date to celebrate. Please bear this in mind tomorrow. Acknowledgement is just one thing, but you can actually be welcomed to country tomorrow by Ngarrindjeri and Kaurna cultural leader Uncle Moogie Sumner. Some people might know Uncle Moogie if you're from here. There's a smoking ceremony tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. That's at Elder Park, so I'm going to be there. There'll be traditional dance and music. You'll receive a gift of native kangaroo grass, seeds to plant as well, which is a really beautiful way to honour regeneration of country. I hope to see you there, and now I'm going to hand over to Frank to continue talking about history, tradition and dance.
Thank you, Georgia, for the wonderful acknowledgement to country. It's nice to see everyone's lovely faces tonight. I just wanted to touch on some history of Lindy Hop, this dance that we all know and love. We've been dancing in some for shorter, for longer amounts of time, but we all love it. Before I begin, I would like to acknowledge that this dance, like many forms of jazz, is deeply seated in Black American roots. It stems from African rhythms, and it's a tradition where creativity and community are at its core. Even though Lindy Hop nowadays is actually danced by predominantly white folks, Black dancers have always continue to be pioneers of great styles and music throughout history and contemporary times. So, a quick bite of history. I'll do a little bit of a speed run here. This is by no means complete. So Lindy Hop emerged where black artistry exploded in something called the Harlem Renaissance, and that is Harlem in New York City. It's inspired by jazz, early jazz such as breakaway, European, partner dancing's vernacular solo, and it's a cultural mixing pot of everything, past, present and future. Lindy Hop's true identity is actually a street dance, not too different to funk and hip hop and all that, danced by anyone and anywhere. One of the great tales is this is one of my favourites. Early 1930s, 12-year-old Norma Miller danced her heart out in front of the Savoy Ballroom. And if you don't know, Savoy Ballroom is one of the dear souls of Lindy Hop, one of the homes. And this, a few years later, she actually won the Lindy Hop contest in the Apollo Theatre with thousands of appreciators and admirers. Quite amazing. And she was invited to be part of White's Lindy Hoppers, one of the greatest troupes of all times. You can see them on film and different sorts of media. So following on from the 1940s, this is actually where swing proliferated into the world through the Americas, accompanied by musicians, such amazing musicians. Duke Ellington, Ella Fitzgerald, Benny Goodman, and so many more. Sadly, due to the continuation of World War II in the mid-1940s, like many forms of jazz, it's actually quite a political statement, so it was actually banned throughout the world, not just in Americas, but through Europe and much of Australia as well. This was until the resurgence in 1980s. This is the Lindy Hop that we dance today. This is the 1930s, 1940s Lindy Hop style. This was actually brought by the old timers, brought back by the legendary old timers. This is, you know, Frankie Manning and, you know, yes, Norman Miller and Al Minns. They all had so much to teach us. In the spirit of Lindy Hop today, it's all about inclusivity and creativity. It's about expressing yourself. And everywhere you look, you'll find infinitely many exchanges and amazing inspirations and dances out there, yourselves included. And just a quick fun fact, not that anyone uses it anymore, I mean, you can if you want, but it's Reddit, and it signifies that swing is still very much alive. It shows that 5% of the largest communities on Reddit is actually swing dancers. I also recommend you looking at that. There's some authentic pieces on there. I encourage you all to feed your curiosity and continue to learn about these dances. There are so many resources out there. So I'll leave you with that. Thank you for listening. I can't wait to dance with all of you.
Thanks so much, George and Frank. You guys are fantastic. We have